Hello, everybody. This is your host, Jason. I know it's been a little bit. Had a lot going on there with the holiday break and all that good stuff. But I am back for your weekly episode. How y'all been? Yes, and I've been working specifically on a book, actually, that I got coming out in a couple months. The one I've been talking about. Got a lot of leeway with it. For those who forget, I have a fiction book that's coming out that's untitled. Tossing around a couple titles for that. That's about halfway done. But that's going to be the first one to come out. It's probably going to come around February is the deal. It'll be done before January. But February, because, you got to have an editor and all that good stuff. Some more promotion stuff. You'll be able to order it. And obviously, I'll let you guys know. Links, all that good stuff. I'll keep it a fair price since it's my first go-around book-wise. The second book is going to be more geared toward this specific audience. It's going to be an amalgamation, meaning combination, of all the stories that I've told on here, / some just life lessons I've learned, through the years. And what a lot of my friends have meant to me. And I know that sounds very personal, but it will be catered to you. Meaning, it will be a personal take, but in a more generalized way to where you can draw something from it. For example, my biggest heartbreak, yes, it's a personal thing, but I reflect on what specifically made this a big heartbreak and what you can draw from that thing, what you can draw from it. Like, the ups and downs, things to avoid, how to cope with it, and how it can, in reality, make you a better, stronger person. Things like that. That's not a specific thing I'm going to do, but that's a gist of what I mean. What I mean is personalized, but it's general enough that everyone can get something from it. You know what I mean? But that's in the future. We ain't talking about it now. We are talking about today a few things that I learned this month. Namely, me and one of my cohorts, Kevin, he's big into OnlyFans accounts. For those of you who don't know what an OnlyFans account is, I will tell you the legitimate reason people have OnlyFans, and then so when I say legitimate, I mean legal. And then I'm going to tell you the realistic reason people have and support OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a UK-based app, I wouldn't even say app, website that allows you to cater directly to your fandom. It's kind of like Patreon, except for it's more lax with its rules. Nudity, cursing, all that stuff, it's more lax. It doesn't have the same regulations the American-based Patreon does, where if you violate some of their terms, they ban you. Plenty of people have been banned from Patreon for a variety of reasons. But OnlyFans, it's different. Meaning you can either, one major difference is on Patreon, you have to actually pay a monthly figure, be it some are as low as $1, some are $5. You can pledge anything over $1 pretty much. And that person gets a sizable amount of that and a little portion sliced off the Patreon itself. Keep the doors open. But with OnlyFans operates on a different kind of wavelength to where the creator keeps a slightly higher cut. Like, when I say higher cut, they're both making most of the money that they're getting donated to. I just want you to know that. It's not a case where they're like, you're making no money. Like, it's not like a YouTube situation where they give you a slice of their big earnings. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But with OnlyFans, you're allowed to do more things. For example, I'm going to talk about the real reason people use OnlyFans. Nudity and sex videos. I'm not saying everyone does that. But when you hear OnlyFans, that's the first thing that pops to your head if you know what it is. Where people are selling nudes, like legit nudes of themselves or sex videos, because they don't have a regulation against sex videos. They don't have a regulation against selling essentially pornography. Like, as long as it's consenting adults, because, consenting adults is legal, and non-consenting is obviously like rape or statutory, the bad stuff. But anyway, people have OnlyFans, and they are basically, you ever get on a porn site and you just get tired of watching the hard produced, like, storyline based pornography, and you want something simple, something that just looked like it was filmed on an Android or iPhone, no background music, or sometimes background music, with regular folks. Well, that's what you get with OnlyFans. A lot of OnlyFans, honestly, is just a lot of there's different kinds. One of them, which is what my friend Kevin was talking about, just yes, they have nudes and stuff, but they have a lot of streams, a lot of content you can buy where you just talk to the individual person, and that's pretty dope. Honestly, it's like Patreon where you get to talk to them, or you want to see them naked. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I really want to talk to this girl or guy. They seem pretty cool. Hey yo, show me your titties. And it's not in a negative, defamatory way. It's just straight up like, I just want to see what titties look like. And they're totally fine with that because you're paying them $5.99 to look at their titties. I mean, it's what it is. And I'm glad I brought that back around to prices. With OnlyFans, the difference between it and Patreon is there are different kinds. Some are free. You can freely subscribe to OnlyFans and then donate per video. Where, like, let's say they have, I don't know, I've seen this, a threesome video, but the video is like $10. You can watch the preview, a little 30, 40-second preview, and that's free. And if you like that preview, you can just be like, you know what? I want to buy this. You pay $10, it's your video now. In Flip, the one that I tested out was where you paid $5 per month, and you just got a bunch of content that was simple, like simple stuff, like nothing hardcore. And if you wanted to pay for extra stuff, you could. See, there's different levels. OnlyFans gives the people making it more freedom on how they want to charge their people. And honestly, they also have the ability to give free videos away. They have the ability to discount them at will. I saw some good Thanksgiving themed ones this past weekend that were, catered for that. It's a way for people to do pornography, but I don't want to say be safe, because porn stars are actually way safer than regular. It's actually safer for you to sleep with a porn star than a regular person on the street, even one that you know. Because porn stars get tested regularly, and a lot of times they use condoms anyway. So it's a bunch of clean people having sex with a bunch of clean people. Not even kidding. You should check out some documentaries about that, like after porn and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, and a lot of times you see these OnlyFans videos, it's kind of like that, but a smaller community. You see a lot of OnlyFans people working with just OnlyFans people, where you see one male OnlyFans dude, and you'll see him in 4 or 5 girl videos, and that's it. He'll just keep making videos with them. And one of my friends said, well, that's a ripoff. Why would I see 5 people mess around? I'm like, well, when you really watch porn, like free porn, where you don't have to pay for it, a lot of time it is the same old, can you really point out like 20 actors who do porn? I mean, some people can, but for the most part, people find their one actor or their one niche of porn and they stick to that. And OnlyFans have their niches too. It's like a subgroup of the pornography landscape. Like Pornhub has everything in creation, right? But this has a more scaled down version. It's like, for example, one of my favorite OnlyFans people, just from her videos, Miss London. Miss London, banging body. She always stars the same 2-3 folks. She seems goofy. Some of their previews they support on Twitter, because a lot of the content is supported on Twitter, because Twitter works with OnlyFans. Like a lot of apps you can sign in with Facebook or stuff like that. Not OnlyFans. You can't do that with Facebook, but you can do it with Twitter. So a lot of them promoted on Twitter. And there's a whole community of people who do that. And I keep saying the word community because they have to function as a community. They have to do promotional work with each other. They have to do all this because a lot of OnlyFans accounts are not visible unless you specifically look for them. It was explained to me that a lot of these accounts are shadow banned because Twitter doesn't specifically promote this kind of thing. Like, they don't ban it, but they don't promote it. So when I say shadow ban, I don't mean they're actually banned. Shadow ban means that unless they are specifically looked up, like exact character lookup, or you click a link, or when somebody adds somebody on Twitter, you ain't gonna see it. It's gonna be virtually invisible. That's wild, isn't it? But it's true. They make them virtually invisible so that people don't, flood Twitter with promotional work for their stuff. If you want to find it, it's freely there. But we're not going to, put it in your face. You know what I mean? I've seen people who are shadow banned. because they post pornography or they post promotional work for their OnlyFans. The only reason I stumbled onto it was I was on a thread and people were promoting their accounts on there, and I was like, that is a wild thing. I had never seen it before. I didn't know what it was, and 6 months ago I didn't know what an OnlyFans was. Now I'm getting a dive into it and learned a whole bunch of like insight and different like crazy wild stuff about it. And people are making some serious banks. One of my good friends, she started one recently where she doesn't even have sex. She just does specific fetish videos. She does things with, syrup or stuff like that, or she'll touch herself, or she'll rub like fruit. Like you said, one time someone requested that she put bananas on herself and smush them on her, like smush bananas on her butt, not in her butt, but on her butt, and things like that. And they paid her like $50 to do it. And I know some people look at it in the meaning like, oh, how could you do this, blah, blah, blah. They don't realize the amount of self-marketing, self-production, and self-management you have to do to run one of these accounts. It's ridiculous. With this, you can't run ads for this. So it's one of those things where you have to network. You have to build up a fandom. I know people on Twitter who struggle to build up any kind of following where more than 30 people see their tweets. These people have hundreds of responses, and they tweet on a regular basis. They promote on a regular basis. They edit videos. They produce videos. They've discovered algorithms on how often to post, what time of day to post, what kind of tags to use, things like that. It's a whole business. You have to be very knowledgeable in what you're doing to accomplish an OnlyFans properly, like to keep that business. That's what it is. Business afloat. Like, it's a lot of work, and people put it down because it's a sex worker work. Like, the sex industry is looked down upon, and I think that it's bullshit. Because, to be honest, let's be honest, we all participate in the sex work, like, environment. You know what I mean? We all watch porn. Let's be real. We all think about sexual things. We all sexualize everything and everybody. That's just what it is. But at the same time, we want to see these porn stars do all these things, but we want to look down at them because they're doing it. That sounds like a double standard to me. It does. I've never looked down on them because they do stuff that I can't do. It's like when we slut shame. Like we had an episode about slut shaming. We look down on people doing stuff, and my friend made a good point about that. His point was, people only slut shame because it's things they want to do, but don't want to say they want to do it out loud. You look down on people for doing stuff you want to do. And I could not agree more, because it's the truth. We look down on people that are doing stuff that we think is fun, that we think is cool, that we think is adventurous. And that could not be more true. Straight up. And I was jokingly talking about it earlier this month about starting an OnlyFans because I thought it would be interesting, like an interesting thing to do, at least short term, to see. Well, I'll be real with you, make some extra scratch, see what happens, all that good stuff. And hilariously enough, I actually got a couple of my girlfriend and female friends that were like, hey, you cut me a slice, we'll see what we can talk about. I don't mean like on camera. I mean like, well, one of them, two of them were talking about being on camera, but I'm talking about they would provide lights, a stage was not at my actual house, production stuff, editing, marketing. They would do that. And like, I was flattered, honestly. I was flattered they were going to put in all that work to help little old me. And I considered it, still considering it. We'll see what happens. If you ask my friend Kevin, I've already made my mind up, and it's a yes, but I'm still considering it because logistics. It's all logistics. I've done a lot of research on it, and by research I mean actual physical research and numbering and marketing and editing and production, and just sampling a bunch of OnlyFans, for taste reasons. Science. So, but no, on the real, it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating because I'm deep diving into it, and I'm discovering just how far the rabbit hole goes. Just like pornography, you have a big, wide range of things to pick for, but the major difference is you're being catered to specifically by one person, and you are helping that specific one person out. You giving that $5, not going to some giant bin that'll be mailed off to the porn star. No, you're actually giving it to them personally, and in the case of one of my friends, you're communicating with them on a regular basis. He has conversations with this lady, one of his OnlyFans people he subscribed to, on a regular, consistent basis. Like, he's actually telling her, you know, how's things going? How's life? How's all this stuff? I remember one time he actually convinced her to get a pineapple pizza because she had never had pineapple before. And she tried it and made a video for him, personalized, about the pineapple pizza. There was one story we said about chicken sandwich. A lot of his stuff is based around food. That's my homeboy, though. But it's fascinating. You build a personal community, just like Patreon. I know people who make a living off of Patreon, and they treat these people like their friends, their family. And I think that's very similar to this. The only major difference is these people, your friends, are watching you have sex. And if you've been listening to this show long enough, I don't give a damn about people watching me have sex. I actually get a kick out of it. I enjoy people watching me have sex. It's a thrill. Like, I get a kick out of it. I like watching people have sex, and I like being watched. I have actually listed out the logistics of doing this, and I'm not sold yet on whether it's a yes or no, but I'm leaning kind of to that yes, depending on I can get, something thrown together. And one cool thing about it is this doesn't have to have the same scripts that pornography has, because and the reason I say pornography instead of porn is because I just like the word pornography, so don't at me, because I know you will. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't have the same script. Sometimes just I know me personally, I like watching the 1 minute of porn and see the little scripts, and then I skip 10 minutes in because I want to see some sex, some penetration, some blowjobs. Want to see this one. Some of them, if you really want it, can have that in there. Other ones can just skip all that mess and go straight to, the deep throat. And I think that's just fascinating. It's so wild. And when I say they have to work together, it was described to me that a lot of them have promotions going on where you can get discounted videos if you subscribe, to certain people. And it could be 2 people in the video. Subscribe to both of them. And if you do that, you also get linked up with a different person who's being promoted in that video. And it's like a chain where people work together and discount/promote each other. So they're building up the brand of OnlyFans as a whole, giving it credibility and legitimacy. And I think that is honestly fascinating. And I want to know the root of how all this started, how it tilted from just regular dudes and chicks doing OnlyFans to it becoming a living, breathing entity of people trying to make it in adult entertainment. And that's what it is, adult entertainment. And I'm fascinated. I'm going to have to do a lot of research on how that happened, but I really want to know because it's wild. Fun fact, I actually, if you listen to the show, as long as you have, my body count ain't high. It's normal body count. Well, quote unquote normal. It's lower than the average for men, apparently. So, it was told to me that if I was to start one of these, nobody would actually know who I was if they didn't see my face, which is hilarious because it's true. And it'll be interesting. I already got a couple people who said they would pay $5-some a month. And when I added up, if I did this, I could get $40 a month just from people that I know, which is ridiculous. Which means that pays for my internet, essentially. Almost. Kind of. So, still on that table, leaning. It's like leaning tower pizza. I'm going one way or the other. We'll see. But that's what I gathered from my research into this. And deeper still into the rabbit hole, because I definitely fell into a rabbit hole, is some of these people have the most intricate, costume designs and, listen. I've always been of the mind that I've always found sex to be something that you enjoy, but like regular people, they don't rehearse it. Because if you don't know, porn stars rehearse things like 11 times over and over and over before they actually get a final shoot. It's done like a movie production. They say sometimes they're on set for 6 hours to film a 45-minute segment. And I always thought that sex is one of those things that people enjoy, but it doesn't always look fantastic. And I've never shot an OnlyFans, so from what I think is going on, and honestly, I think that sex is one of those things where like it's enjoyable to watch, but it's when you're actually doing it, it's like it's regular, it's normal. Like you hit the doggy style for like 20 minutes. I'm kidding. That whoever does doggy style for 20 minutes is doing too much. Hit doggy style for a good 3-4 minutes. You switch up to something, do some basic things. I'm a sound mind. The dudes have like 5 go-to moves, and then maybe 10 other like I'm gonna switch it up things. Like every time they have sex, it lasts more than 10 minutes. They have their 5 moves they gotta hit. I know I do. I got like 5 moves I gotta hit because they're good for me, and the extra ones are like good for her. And I like to switch those up. You know what I mean? And no, I don't count like going down a girl. That's not a move. That's just something you do. But anyway, in these things, it make it look like, man, they doing a lot. And a lot of it is on the girl. Most of it is. The dudes be doing regular stuff, regular pumping, in and out, in and out. But those girls, they be throwing it back. They be doing crazy stuff, splits, sucking the soul out dudes. It is ridiculous. The amount of skill these ladies have is unchallenged. Like, I'm in awe of these ladies. Like, real talk, I've been with women who can do, for the most part, do 1 or 2 of these things. But these girls, I've seen one do the whole setup. Man, color me impressed. Because Jesus. I'll tell you right now. There's one girl, Miss London again. I could watch her throw it back 20 minutes straight. Repeat. I don't care if it's a video. It could be a GIF. Watch it 20 minutes straight. Have I done it? No. My max out time for watching a GIF back and forward is like 3 minutes. Because like I can only watch something 100 times and then I'm done. But, if she had a 5-minute GIF, I'd watch that about 100 times, which would add out to be like, a couple hours. But that's side the point. Anyways. Listen. Considering, because it's just, I've seen some behind the scenes where they set up and all that stuff, and it's like they set up all that stuff like a regular production. Except for a lot of them, I know a few of them do it all in one take. And if they mess up, it's part of the production. It's part of what they're doing. If somebody slips and falls, they laugh it off and go along with it. I think that's great because it is an amateur video. It's the allure of amateur videos, but with the production quality of legit official productions. And that is amazing. It's an art form. Like, yeah, we're trying to bust a nut to it, but it's art. It's art you can bust a nut to. Ain't that cool? Ain't that the greatest? God bless the internet. But yeah, man, what do you think of this? What do you think? Is it good? Is it something you thought you might want to do? Trying to sell your amateur videos on OnlyFans, make a little money? Because here's the thing, a lot of them cross promote. Miss Lunny you can find on Pornhub because they run. She'll make 1-minute like sample videos and put it on her Twitter, but also put it on Pornhub, which is genius. Because if you put just a simple video on there and put some nice tags like back shots, like I love back shots. I'll watch back shots of just about anybody, any size. I love back shots. A back shot for you people is not when they jizz on their back. That's a different thing. Back shot is where you just hitting it from the back, like doggy style, and you're looking down at the butt. Essentially, that's a back shot. It's great. It's very simple. Very PG. Just kidding. It's not PG. But I love it. I could watch that all day long. And would you mind doing that? Is something you would like to try out? Throw on a mask so nobody sees you, because a lot of people have done that. I've seen some girls, they take like a ski mask and they deep throat so you don't see anything. Honestly, the best video I've seen that always gets me every time is one where like the girl lays down, she's giving a blowjob or whatever, and you can see the crest of her butt cheeks. I like that. I'm weird. I'm very artsy with my pornography. You know what I mean? But anyway, is it something you would consider doing? Is it something yay, nay, like, oh, I never do this, or something like, yeah, gotta try that? What do you think? Let me know. Please, do all the subscribing and stuff. This is ENS Podcast, or Emotions and Shh. You can find us on any and all streaming platforms. Spotify, Spotify, iHeart, Spreaker, you name it, we're on it. I even upload the raw audio to YouTube, things like that, man. I try all that stuff out. Let me know what you think. Let me know all that good stuff. You can follow us on I'm about to say iTunes. What is wrong with me today? My brain is not working. You can follow us on Twitter at ENS Podcast, or the handle at Emotions and SHHH. Shh. Love that. Instagram as well, ENS Podcast, ENS Podcast 1, or ENS Podcast 1. And Facebook, ENS Podcast, because they gotta keep PG. They don't like the shh, even though it's a censored version of the word shit, but whatever. Let me know. Come on, let me know all the good stuff. Also, check out 2 of my favorite podcasts that I absolutely, positively love to listen to. I'm gonna say 3 actually. Fans of Patrol, love it. Fans of Patrol, great show. You want some nerdy stuff? Listen to them. Another lifestyle podcast, Brisky's Place by Brisky Boo and Mookie. They're great. Yeah, gotta support family, because we family around here. I had a joke to make there, but I'm not gonna make it. Maybe later. And obviously, my last one on that list, the Cats and Dog Podcast, which is a segment of the Jobber Tears podcast. Love that show. Love it, love it, love it. Let us know all the good stuff. Goodbye.